members. IDC joined our ecosystem on July 2017 as a strategic member, and we have decided to start every year by showing all our ecosystem the predictions for each year that IDC develops. It's a very interesting subject, and I would like to introduce you now to Emilio Castellone, Senior Research Analyst of IDC, who will be presenting this webinar. And before we start, and before I give the go to Emilio, I will ask you all two things, please. One, to keep your mix on mute, so we don't have any interference or noise. And second, if you want to do any question during this presentation, you can just type it in the message box, and I will ask Emilio during the presentation your comments and your questions. After the presentation, we will also leave some minutes for Q&A. So yeah, let's start. Emilio, it's all yours. Emilio?
Yeah, sorry, I had my meeting mute. Now, yes, you can hear me now?
Yeah, perfectly well.
Okay. So thank you everybody for your attention. And well, the idea of this presentation is from IDC to share with you the main guidelines to achieve the actual digital transformation process. As well, most of you come from the startup point of view. Well, I think we are going to focus on the 10 predictions, technological predictions that may be very useful for all of them in order to get a whole vision of the futurescape we are working at the moment in the digital transformation. So, well, let's start with a concept, okay? With the concept of the third platform, okay? We are all in the middle of the digital transformation process toward this third platform, and IDC introduced this platform with two different items, okay? The first one is the four main issues is cloud, mobility, social business, and big data analytics, okay? But of course, for all of you, the most important thing of this third platform will be those 5 innovation accelerators in which for sure most of you are working on, okay? These are, of course, robotics, natural interfaces, 3D printing, Internet of Things, cognitive systems, and next generation security, okay? So taking into account this new environment, digital environment, and with these accelerators, I would like to share with you how IDC see the transaction, okay, the travel along this transformation, this digital transformation, and well, mainly we identify 3 different chapters, 3 different phases, okay? The first one was was starting at the beginning of 2007 with experimentation and the main touch of the technology during those area, okay? But nowadays we are in the middle, okay? In the middle of the chapter 2, okay? In which innovation must be taken into account with these accelerators, okay? Well, the idea is to understand how these main accelerators, technological and innovation accelerators, may help us to deploy our business and how to succeed in the new digital environment, okay? So these slides perhaps give us the whole picture, okay? As you see, there are plenty of technologies. Don't worry, we will focus later on each of them. But the idea is to get clear what is this travel about, okay? The travel starts at the technology point, okay? And the target is to arrive at the consumer, okay? Providing this technology and being in a natural way, okay? So that's why, as you can see down here, there are 5 different steps which must be taken into account, okay? Of course, for IDC, IoT is very important in order to, canalize all the deployment of sensors, new sensors that is going to capture all the data, okay? All the data that should be arriving the new platforms in the cloud, of course, mega platforms with a new behavior in which all this data must be stored, must be managed, okay, in order to give the data the value, okay? Remember that nowadays, as we see this digital transformation processes, data is the new petroleum of this 21st century. So the idea is to be the capability to manage of this data and provide intelligence in order to be able to provide to the end user tailored product or services from these clouds, okay? And these products or services should be should be provided in a natural experience, okay? So this is the whole photo of the digital transformation environment we see from IDC and how technology is going to be a key decisor in the penetration of the market, in the new markets, okay? New digital markets. Well, if we have to draw a picture about what is going on nowadays globally in the digital market, we see probably this picture, okay? I'm going to explain. If you see this picture in the center, we have the cloud, the mega platforms, that is going to be the main core of the digital environment, able to catch the data, to process the data, and to deliver the final services to the end users, okay? But there are 3 different areas, important areas, that during the following years are going to change a lot, okay? And I am referring to, first of all, the data itself, okay? So data is going to be to grow up a lot, huge amounts of data that must be connected to the platform through the main IoT technologies we are going to deploy in the coming years, okay? And of course, data providers will have to readapt their strategies, their way of behaviors, their way they are working with this data in order to provide intelligence, okay? Intelligence that make this data value, okay? Because the final aim of these data providers is to provide value to the data in order to get close to the business, okay? Another area important is going to be the code, okay? All the applications, all the services, you will see later on, okay, must be readapting, redesigning, okay? All the processes of development is going to be changed a lot, not only in the development part, but also in the platforms, in the marketplaces that are going to be arising in the coming years, providing these new digital services. And finally, one thing that is going to affect probably most of you are the relationships, okay? In this new digital environment, relationships between the channel, relationships between the customers, relationships between the platforms are going to change a lot, okay? They are going to be built up from the very beginning in a new concept, okay, in which all the parts are going to be affected by a double role, in which most of the users could be providers, most of the providers will be users, and so on, okay? So for sure, the channel and the relationships between the providers and the users is going to be one of the key issues to be solved in the following years, okay? So if we go now in deeper in the predictions that IDC has detected for these coming years regarding the digital environment, we can start with the first one, okay? Of course, the first one is related to the economy, okay, to the digital economy, because all the environment is changing a lot. All the economical context toward the third platform and digitalization is a reality. And, well, you just have to see the first prediction. By 2021, at least 50% of the global GDP will be digitized, okay? So everything is going to be digitized, and, well, it's going to be as fast as possible, okay? In, well, 2-3 years, we're going to be dramatically changes affected to all this environment, okay? For example, most of them from the startup perspective, for sure you know, but I would like to clarify also that by 2020, investors will use digital metrics to value your company. So for sure, this transformation is going to affect all the parts in the market, okay? Not only the users, not only the service provider, but also the companies and the enterprises that has to readapt their opportunities, readapt their philosophies and the way they are working right now, okay? What is the opportunity here for all of you? It is clear. Startups are born digitally, okay? So that is just as simple as to be a native digital is the aim of all the legacy companies nowadays. So the advantage of all of you in this new scenario is clear. You are native digital by the very beginning, okay? From the very beginning. So let's continue with the second prediction. Well, the second prediction, well, is referring to the platforms, okay? Of course, there's going to be different platforms in the digital environment, and, well, almost by 2020, 60% of all enterprises will have integrated, will be using any kind of digital platform strategy, okay? So that means that, in a way, these platforms will become, for sure, the new digital IT cores, okay? And the opportunity here comes in the flavors of new products, services, customers, emerging startups like you that obviously are running their business right now in the cloud, okay? So the context is simple. Fast growing and very easy to scale, okay? Most of the companies have to change their behaviors, okay? But in the context of the startup, this is natural, it's native. So this is an advantage nowadays, okay? The third prediction we have from IDC is regarding the cloud, okay? Because the cloud, as we call Cloud 2.0, is going to be distributed and specialized, okay? You have to focus on the target you want to work with, but the transformation in the investment moving from on-premise toward cloud, it is clear, okay? And by 2021, the spending on cloud services, as you can see in the slide, is going to be, well, more than double to over $513 billion, okay? So there is a clear opportunity in here where in which multi-cloud environment for sure will be the key players of this new scenario, and great opportunities are going to arise to provide new services that facilitate the migration from on-premise to cloud, okay? So perhaps this is a good opportunity for most of you to being able to engage with the legacy companies in order to help them to migrate from the on-premise world to the new digital world, okay? The fourth prediction is related to the artificial intelligence. Of course, if we think about the new digital context, for sure, artificial intelligence is going to be everywhere, because in a way, all the data we are going to generate, all the data we are collecting via IoT strategy is going to be helpless if we are not able to apply any kind of intelligence in order to get added value. In this context, of course, by 2019, that is next year, we will be talking about 40% of the digital transformation initiatives will use this kind of technology, this kind of artificial intelligence, okay? So with this chance, it's also by the hand of the IoT and, of course, the new telco networks as 5G that must be guarantee the low latency and the high speed communications needed to apply this kind of technology. The opportunity here for sure is that, well, artificial intelligence will mean differentiation between success or failure, okay? And of course, it will be a very interesting area in which I think most of you are working right now. Next prediction, number 5, is related to the type of apps we are going to be developing from now on, okay? This kind of digital new apps must take into account a new foundation technologies under the context of hyper agile, okay, with plenty of modularity, okay, that allows a much more rapid pace of improvement and enhancement, okay. We are talking also about new microservices that are going to arise, okay, and new APIs for sure that maybe must help us to have a quick, simple environment and more interoperability between the service providers, between the new customers, between the new digital players, okay? Because the new culture change that we are seeing around the development of application and services digital are, well, towards to be more openness, innovation, collaboration, agility, okay? And this is for sure an opportunity for all of you. An opportunity regarding all the development scenario in which you may help all the existing players to integrate or develop new services in this digital context, okay? Next prediction, number 6, will be regarding the point that all the services, all the products we are going to develop in this scenario must take into account that must be, well, easy to use, okay? So the human digital interfaces are penetrating in the digital market very quickly. And of course, we are talking about augmented reality. We are also talking about voice assistance and all these kind of technology services application that help the user, the end user, to use any kind of digital services in a very easy way. Okay, so the opportunity here is clear to get the real approach to the consumer market, where new adoption ways of using the tech is going to be defined. Okay, most of you that are working around the sports sectors, with wearables and all this kind of stuff, for sure have plenty of opportunity here. But remember, all the development, all the interfaces in these digital context should be human digital, simple, easy to use. Okay. For the next prediction, number 7, we are talking about a very strategic incipient technology, which is blockchain. For sure, all of you have heard about it, and I hope not only regarding the Bitcoin concept, okay, but we from IDC think blockchains must be a key differentiation in the digital trust. Okay, may help companies to use blockchains to increase the level of trust at the digital environment. Okay, and of course we see different cases of use of blockchain during the following years in different areas. Okay, this is probably the newest area of technology in which, for sure, most of the existing markets in 3-4 years will be interested in. We see clearly developments around the manufacturing supply chain. Okay, helping in the collaborative design or collaborative manufacture. We see it for sure also in the financial services, helping to know your customer and establish the regulatory compliance. Okay, we also see blockchains in the retail supply chains. Okay, orchestration of omnichannel is a clear asset in this aspect. Okay, also in data services, where again validation and provenance of data is going to be a key issue for this new technology. But also we can find it in healthcare, providing again patient identity, or in the state or local government, in which it will be also important the operational and process of cost improvement of data and integrity. Okay, so as you see, from IDC, we think that blockchain is going to be a clear asset of the new digital context, and we think that by 2021, 20% of the data from sources on open networks will be registered on a public blockchain. So APIs, of course, APIs will have been made available for data consumers to validate this blockchain registration. So clearly here there is a new opportunity, and it's an opportunity perhaps that is to be taken into an advance right now. So I will suggest everybody to take it into account and think about how to implement any kind of development along this new technology. Next prediction, it is regarding the way we are going to provide data, and of course the way a new business line is going to be arising in the coming years, called data as a service. Okay, until now we are naming software as a service, cloud as a service, platform as a service, whatever. But right now in the digital context, we are going to start to talk about data as a service. Okay, because as I told you before, nowadays data is the new petroleum of the 21st century. So most companies will invest in data mining to improve their assets and value opportunities, and for sure this will lead this new data as a service, a new business line, a profitable business line to be considered for all of you. The opportunity here is clear because new business models will leverage the intelligence around the data. Okay, this is the key, I think, the intelligence around the data. And in any field, well, will be very interesting to introduce a new player in this business line. For sure, this is a trending topic that we should be considering for our business. And well, next prediction we have from IDC is regarding the developers. Okay, developers are going to change a lot in this new digital scenario, because if you see this prediction by 2021, well, non-traditional developers are going to build at least 20% of the business application, or 30% of the new application features, and increasing, okay, almost the double for the 2027. What does it mean? Okay, obviously here we have to take into account a new concept, which is low-code, no-code development tools that will dramatically expand the number of non-tech developers. Okay, these kind of developers are going to use, in most of the cases, low-code, in which, well, we see great opportunities. Okay, so take care about it and think about it if you are not in this loop. But, well, for example, what kind of areas or developments we see clearly around this new tendency? Okay, we see the data validation, we see the outlier detection, predictive modeling, enhanced content management, key performance indicators management, strategy planning, operational planning, forecasting, mobile application designing. More or less all these areas are going to be related to the low-code use. So for sure, the profile, the type of developer will change a lot, and anyone could be join this new philosophy. Okay, so the opportunity here is enormous. It's an opportunity close to the collaboration, okay, around development, in which anyone will be able to contribute and be a clear asset to this new concept. Okay. Finishing the prediction, the last one, the number 10, is about, well, how is going to be the APIs, okay? Of course, the APIs has to change a lot. These APIs must be open and must help the new digital ecosystems to be integrated and to have the facility to interact and collaborate, okay? So we think that by 2021, more than half of the G2000 will be using any kind of this open API ecosystem, and will be prepared to be open and to be in a collaborative way, in which, well, for sure, they will have to be third-party digital innovators that provide this acceleration, adoption, and make a revenue in the digital context. Okay, so the opportunity here again is perhaps the need of new APIs and microservices that allows a new opportunity to interconnect new digital world. Okay, so this should be more or less the actual environment, digital environment we see from IDC. And of course, what is the role of IDC in this new digital context? Well, the idea is to provide support to all the companies, all the new players that are arising under this new context. Okay, to helping in planning digital strategies, executing digital roadmaps, identifying the best technology for your business, and the last, selecting appropriate technology partners, okay? So, well, this should be the role play of IDC within this digital context. And finally, I would like to conclude, yes, with, well, what are the main points I would like to highlight, okay? Perhaps, well, you know, digital transformation, for sure, I think is a reality. There is no doubt about it, okay? IoT will be key player, key factor in this new environment, because it's going to be the facilitator to enrich the data profiling, okay? And I think most of you are working around this area in sports, especially, where plenty of new devices and applications must be deployed to get huge amounts of data, okay? New cloud platforms are the challenge, perhaps, of the new digital context, in which this multi-cloud platform concept must be able to readapt all the necessities of the services, the customers, the players, all the figures we are going to find around this new digital context. And of course, data intelligence is the difference between success and failure, okay? And I think most of you have very much to say around intelligence in this new area, digital area, okay? And the idea and the final target, of course, is to be able to tailor new digital products and services for the digital market, okay? But we haven't commented, of course, the last point I have added here is security, because although we haven't talked about it, security should be embedded in all the process, in all the digital process, okay? So security must be taken into account from the designing phase, passing through the development phase, and finally in the production phase, okay? So this is more or less like, IDC see this new digital context in which, as I told you in the beginning, the opportunity is clear for all the companies, all the startups like you, digital, native digital born, okay? Because the easy way you have now and the opportunities are enormous in comparison, of course, from with the legacy companies, legacy enterprises that have to afford this transformation way. Okay, so well, I think the idea is just to tell you that you must be ready for this new digital challenge. I think you have plenty of opportunities around these new technologies, this prediction we have been sharing with you, and hope that you do it the best. Okay, so now from my side is everything I wanted to share with you. So if you have any kind of question, I think this is the time for it, and I will be very glad to answer anything. Okay.
Thank you very much, Emilio. That was indeed very interesting, and some of the figures are really shocking. Anyone has a question for Emilio? You are free to ask anything you want. One question that Nuno had during the conference was if you, Emilio, will be able to share this presentation with all the attendants.
Yes, for sure. Don't worry. I will share with you, and you can pass to the people attending.
Excellent. I have a question. What's your opinion about these predictions in the sports industry? Do you think we are still a little bit behind and we'll need more time to catch up with these figures, or not?
No, the idea, if you say you've seen, going back to the conclusions, okay, I think clearly the opportunity around sports are coming by the hand of the IoT, for sure, because there is plenty of business around there, and the differentiation key point in all the companies will be in the approach of the data intelligence, okay? In the approach, the service you deploy, the service you develop will enrich this data. We provide finally to the end users a value added, okay? And remember, the idea is to provide it as simple as possible, okay? The user needs to receive human-defined interfaces, okay? So I think this is the key factor of the sports sector: IoT, digital intelligence, and the way we deliver these new services to the end user as simple as possible.
Okay, perfect. We have another question from Nuno. He asks, how do you see the Megaclouds competitiveness? How will it affect the services developed and the global market?
Well, in a way, the Megaclouds competitive market is going to be something that facilitates the business, okay? Because we will see that it's going to be a lot of players, not the main players, the few main players we know right now. And of course, one of you perhaps is going to become one of those new players, okay, in the MultiCloud, okay, in which, well, at the end, must be a key facilitator to make digital business, okay? To make it simple, to make it cheaper, to make it with exchange, okay? Between different platforms, and very easy, okay? This is the idea of the concept of the new platforms the digital scenario will present, okay?
Great, perfect. What do you think about the biggest challenge or the impact for all the players, considering the data protection law that will start in May?
Well, you know, data protection law is a key issue, especially here in Europe, okay? But I think also in the US. We are talking in Europe about the GDPR, okay? The issue here to be taken into account is that not only the service provider is going to be responsible for the custody of the data, but finally is going to be the vendor itself, okay? So this is something we have to take into account, that in the previous situation, we took only the responsibility from the service provider, and right now with the new law, we are going to be responsible directly from the protection of data. Okay, so this is the issue I think we have to take into account.
Perfect. Sergio Valdez Godoy is asking, can you give us an example of blockchain use in the sports industry?
Yeah, I think perhaps I imagine an example could be, when we talk about blockchains, we are all be thinking about trustability, okay? To be able to trust the data, okay? So perhaps I am thinking about an application in which, blockchains would be a good application for sharing different time lapse, okay? In a multi-environment races, for example. Okay, imagine a race that can be held in different places at the same time. Through the blockchains, we will be able to share the time lapse and give the trustability necessary to consolidate it in one big picture. Okay, for example. And of course, the bet houses, okay? The bet houses is going to be one of the key uses of blockchains in which money, again, has a very importance, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyone else for some questions? We still have 1-2 minutes, so anyone? If not, well, thank you very much, Emilio. That was very, very, very interesting. Thanks for your time and for answering all the questions that we had. To everyone else, we will share you the presentation. We also recorded these sessions, so it will be available as a video feature in our TV website soon. And I will give Sofia. Do you want to say anything before we leave?
You just said everything I wanted to say. Yes, we will share with you the presentation as soon as Emilio sends it to us, and then as soon as it's possible, we will share all the recording from this webinar. So thank you so much for your assistance. And if you need anything from me, you can contact me anytime. Thank you all.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Emilio.
Okay, thank you to you for the invitation, and of course, thank you to everyone to be here listening to me, okay?
Yeah, sure. So have a good day and a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.